He's caught out in the open. But there we go, T-17 armored car getting the drop on my forces in the south. Able to really get the drop on them, opening up with its gun. Doing quite a bit of damage to the Pioneers. Grenadiers getting up from the creek backs. Another Pioneer's down. Not looking good for the bike either. And the first shot at the bike misses. Second one misses as well. Hooray for the bike. Not so much hooray for the rest of the forces left behind. Heavy machine gun opens up. Doing very light damage, and perhaps, yes, Panzerfaust. Still not doing much. I'll probably have to conduct a full retreat from here. Volksgrenadiers getting out of there. But Pack is on the spot. But T-17 will have to get out of there. There we go. Heavy machine gun holding on. Not doing too well here. A second T-17 out. And we are seeing a harassment attempt by engineers through here. Stopping up for some reason, I think, yes. And Grenadiers moving in, probably going to spot this and put an end to this. There we go. But the Americans have in the meanwhile managed to secure the entire east. Of course, this sniper rather stopping me from moving any fresh forces in, much to my consternation. But T-17's moving about, being a rather large nuisance, and this one getting repaired by some sturdy engineers. T-17 moving in to sort of try and get the drop on my forces, but not entirely sure why it then swerved in through there. T-17 heavy machine gun though not looking too good, although it looks like it might make it out of there. Instead, T-17 focusing on the anti-tank gun, but it hits a mine right nearby, and a Panzerfaust finishes off. Jolly good show. In fact, let us sort of finish this and we'll briefly enjoy the T-17 getting blown to bits. But the current situation is that sort of half the map is in the hands of the Americans, the other half is in the hands of the Wehrmacht. The two victory points though are in the hands of the Americans, so of course he has the advantage there, but at the same time he's sort of been misappropriating his troops, sort of trying to use support units rather heavily in the offensive manner without anything for them to actually support. That's rather the problem, yes. On one hand, it can seem rather intimidating with heavy machine guns and snipers. On the other hand, of course, it's pretty bad on the assault without any infantry to actually lead it. The T-17 is, of course, offering up a bit more heavy firepower, but of course, I rather expected that, as is what usually happens with this sort of strategy. Of course, you're sort of hoping to delay the opponent, then rush him with armor. Of course, if your opponent expects this, it's sort of lost. And of course, what's rather happened here? One T-17 already gone. If the American wants to push through, I suspect he might have to go for Rangers. Well, there we go. Rangers, of course, might help him out a bit with some bazookas, of course, some actual rifles on the field. That way he might actually be able to push through. And he's gotten a barracks and apparently getting for grenades, so he's probably had some sort of strategy in this, where he sort of went for Rangers and of course used them as his main troops. But I'm not quite confident it's actually going to work out very well. Of course, we'll have to see. And in fact, let's return to this match. For me, though, it's a matter of just decently holding on here, not relegating too many forces to the defense, and of course, pushing through here, knocking out this one. And in fact, it looks like the mortar has done a great job at that, which in fact leaves only the sniper behind to hold the position. So hooray for that. Second T-17 is repaired with 6 kills. Might get veteran 21 soon though. Bike close to these Pioneers while seizing some territory. Not sure what this T-17 will do though. And Grenadiers hanging about here a bit. Another Pioneer gets sniped again. This is a rather troublesome chap hiding right there. T-17 moving towards the northern point. Further flamethrowers being equipped for these engineers. Not entirely sure what he's hoping for here. Mortar rounds though flying in, hoping to get that sniper. And missing the mark quite a lot. Instead we are seeing a rather heavy engineer assault moving in, hoping to perhaps avoid any heavy machine guns and run straight into my Volksgrenadiers. Sniper opening up on one engineer. Grenadiers moving in from the north. Further Volksgrenadiers joining in the fun as well. And Bike now joining in as well with some Pioneer Sniper getting out there, not wanting to get toasty. And now looks like these engineers with their southern assault is going to be left rather alone. And there we go, retreating. But now we have Rangers joining in the fun. Bazookas in hand. Oh dear, this Bike might be lost. No, it barely avoids the bazooka shot. And now we are seeing a large infantry counterattack from my forces. 331st Grenadiers joining in. Grenades being exchanged. Only a Volks Grenadier dies though, and a Ranger dies as well in this exchange. Another goes down. Lots of German infantry compared to the American infantry, and they are of course forced to retreat rather swiftly in the face of all this. Again, I'm rather feeling this is sort of a misappropriation of resources. And we are seeing a Sturm Armory going up from me. And further mortar rounds hitting here, and again the vain hope of hitting a sniper. This building is certainly looking a bit off due to all the mortar shells it has received so far. And lining up for a small assault here. It looks like an American counterattack is going to be initiated at the same time, which might force me to change my plans at this moment, since I only have the heavy machine gun and some Pioneers stealing some resources from a wrecked T-17. There we go, sort of giving away that an assault is on the way. Still plenty of munitions, no greater use for it, but there we go. Bike is down, submachine guns out for the Rangers. But they are forced into hiding due to the presence of the Browning. And Rangers are sort of dashing about, trying to hit at range with bazookas and submachine guns. Not the best weapons for it. Getting exhausted. My goodness. We are seeing some Pioneers moving here. Again, sort of expecting some find some mines here, but he doesn't seem to be using one. So instead I laid out my own. And now Rangers charging towards the Grenadiers, probably going to be dropping some grenades of their own. There we go. Will I be spotting this? No, only one Grenadier is down though, most fortunately. Second Ranger team on the spot, and an engineer team. No, my goodness, that was my unit that was down. Pioneers being lost, heavy machine gun on the retreat. And Ranger team number 2 with submachine gun, hose and spray the SMG way. Duke hitting a mine apparently, or detonating one near it. Either way, engine is damaged. Could be an easy target for those Rangers if they decide to. Volks Grenadiers forced back. This looks like his Ranger assault might have pushed the tide slightly for him. And now this pack is in dire straits. Grenades being dropped, clearing out the pack. Bazooka almost knocking it out, leaving behind only the Stuke to hold back the Rangers. And the Stuke seems to have absolutely terrible luck at actually hitting the Rangers. My goodness. And Pioneers moving through here, having rather realized there's absolutely nothing here, and of course hoping to perhaps spread out the American commander's attention. Volks Grenadiers charging in, forcing those Rangers away, and straight into the line of fire of the Stuke, killing one Ranger. Rangers charging and the Stuke, and choosing the wrong side of the cover again. Heavy cover is directional, so if you're standing on the wrong side of it, it does absolutely nothing for you. Now Volks Grenadiers are joining in. Not a lot of support. The T-17 is not really near anywhere as well. It would have been a wise choice to perhaps send that T-17 to sort of support this, perhaps stun the Stuke 4. Instead, he didn't really seem to be doing that. Rangers, of course, being rather heavy in terms of reinforcement costs. Now Stormtroopers having joined the field as well. And Engineers, having tried to harass a bit, are now caught by the Stormtroopers and Grenadiers. With those now following in, but instead getting stopped by a friendly fire from a mortar. My goodness. And a bit of a small lull in the fighting once more. Now an anti-tank gun is slowly being edged forwards. Rangers getting ready perhaps to launch a slightly larger assault. We shall have to see. Grenadiers moving towards the east. And not much luck here so far. This area seems to be the main focal point of American efforts. Of course, now I'm pushing through here, hoping for a bit of luck in spreading out his forces. And of course, his attention. Grenadiers taking up positions with a Panzerschreck. First shot hitting the T-17 nicely. And a lone engineer with a flamethrower and a cough, apparently, since he's almost dead, moving in. But anti-tank guns and Rangers are moving in for the large assault. Heavy machine guns standing up here in a nice overwatch position behind those sandbags I placed up in the start of the game. And Rangers being caught right in it. The arc of fire, but firing up. Of course, remember the whole bit about suppression modifiers. Of course, this is rather forcing me to get the devil out of there. Stuke, the only thing left behind to hold the line. And in fact, returning to me. Pack not looking good either. Might get cleared out again. No, barely makes it out of there, it looks like. Rangers charging in, Volksgrenadiers and mortar moving in. Stuke getting some swift repairs to sort of kick it into action. And what is this? The sound of artillery? Apparently using it here. Oh dear, clearing out the stormtrooper squad. Poor devils. But apparently not using it here, where I'm focusing more of my forces actually in support of his own troops. That seems a bit wasteful. And Rangers getting torn apart. Rangers getting, in fact, slaughtered. Another Ranger team is lost, leaving behind only the anti-tank gun. Stuke surviving, and of course now Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers charging in. And the anti-tank gun is no longer in the hands of the Americans, of course. Again, the mortar hits one of my own troops. That seems a bit unfortunate. Engineers getting out of there, and a bold dash from the T-17 moving in from the Northern Cross. Opening up on the mortar team, forcing that to retreat. But Stuke and Pack opening up on the T-17, damaging its engine in the first volley. And now the main gun is out as well. Stuke charges in. Oh dear, missing the first shot. Will the second shot hit? One can certainly hope so. There we go. T-17 and the Stuke commander